Well, there's been a lot of things achieved, Len, in those 3 years. It's been a very exciting time. I think I'd point to maybe 3 or perhaps even 4 things. Firstly, a contribution around the whole government policy area. You know, if you look at R&D tax, for example, there was a change coming in R&D tax legislation that would have actually resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars of ICT investment being stalled or taken away. And AIIA got involved in that whole conversation and was able to reshape it both with Department of Industry and with the Tax Office in such a way that the revised legislation is far more positive to our industry. You know, it's hundreds of millions of dollars of impact. A second thing I'd point to would be electronic waste on another level, and this is part of our industry providing a really positive image about what it does. You know, our industry is keen to make sure that we deal with the waste that we create from its products and services. So take back and recycling has been something that AIIA has been promoting for many, many years, and we succeeded while Peter Garrett was in the role for the department to buy into a national take-back e-waste recycling scheme, which AIIA is running with the TV industry. So a major outcome there in terms of a positive shaping of the image of our industry. I mean, thirdly, I think the really big one is around the whole election process, the federal election process that took place about a year ago. AIIA played a very strong role in promoting the need for the NBN and high-speed broadband in general. We played a very influencing role with the independents, Windsor, Oakshott, Cadder, at that vital time when they were looking at which way they would play their cards. AIIA was actively engaged in giving them information about the need for broadband in rural and regional Australia and what it can do. That's pretty powerful when you get to that level of relationship. I think it's an interesting time, Len. It's an interesting time because industry associations traditionally have provided a certain type of service and connectivity for their members. What we're seeing, as we well know in our industry, is now a lot of that's happening online. Social networks are booming. Private networks of individuals online are booming. So the role of industry associations is somewhat challenged by that, I think, and industry associations need to be smart in the way they respond to that. But also I think the challenge for industry associations is a lot of the good that you do, and I talked about those 3 things earlier, a lot of the good that you do actually ends up being for everybody in the industry, whether they're members of your association or not. So you're really hoping to try and deliver overarching value and then have people realise that's a good thing and join up as a result. But challenging times, and I think associations need to get smarter in the way they deal with their members and smarter in the way they talk about the value that they're delivering. Otherwise, their members will take their money and take it away and go elsewhere. I think we've got a fantastic local ICT industry, and you know this as well, Len. You've been a key proponent of this over many years. We've got an highly exciting, leading industry in this part of the world. The thing is, I think we don't have belief in a lot of times. You know, essentially, when you look at other countries, and it probably goes right back to things like leadership of the country as a whole, that those countries are passionate and believe in their ICT capabilities, so much that it shapes their economy, shapes their whole approach. Here in Australia, we have some fantastic companies, amazing technologies. We don't seem to believe in ourselves strongly enough to take that forward. I think we all need to be evangelists in our industry. We all need to talk up the role that we play in improving outcomes economically, at corporates, at social levels. We all need to be strong advocates of what we're doing. We've got some great technologies. Well, I think firstly, NBN digital economy is a fantastic dynamic, and we need to focus on what we're going to do with that broadband infrastructure. If the local industry can rise up to that challenge and can be a leader in how you take advantage of high-speed broadband, that can easily go global for them very quickly. So I think the first challenge is to take maximum advantage of the NBN and the digital economy that comes from it. I think the second challenge is the cloud. You know, the cloud is actually changing the dynamics of our industry substantially. The organisations that have relationships with buyers are changing to become service providers rather than straight IT companies. And in that whole revised dynamic, the local industry needs to find its place and quickly to be successful. And again, it provides an opportunity for global selling and opportunities. The third big thing I think we need to focus on locally is skills. As I talk to the CEOs of AIIA members, whether they be large companies, medium or small, one of the biggest challenges they face is talent. You know, getting good talent, getting the right people into their organisations is really tough. You know. The NBN is, really when we boil it down, ubiquitous high-speed broadband is really important for the future of this country. At the moment, we have the NBN and we don't really have an alternative. So the NBN is where we say that's a great opportunity. You know, ubiquitous high-speed broadband is so important because if you can rely on everybody in the country having broadband access and having a reasonably fast speed access, then you can do so much more.